Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to wish you a Happy New Year to all members of this House and the staff working here in the Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Minister, Honourable Paul Goldsmith, for introducing this bill, the Patents, Trans-Tasman Patent Attorney and Other Matters Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, this bill amends the Patents Act 2013, and it makes three major amendments. First amendment is to, on the ground which a person can oppose the grant of a patent under the Patent Act 2013. The other is propose a single patent application process, and the third one is to have a joint registration with Australia for the patent attorneys. Mr. Speaker, ever since this government took over in 2008, has been trying to make sure that ease of doing business is made. And having the singular registration authority across the Tasman with Australia will ease the patents to work, have a single application process which will reduce the fees structure and as well as the paperwork. Mr. Speaker, last week I had an opportunity to attend the launch of the 26th chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which gave me the opportunity to meet the representative of CA Australia and New Zealand, which mentioned that the passing of the legislation of having chartered accountants working across the ditch on a single regime has really helped their businesses. Similarly, this bill will help that the patents and the attorneys will have opportunity to lodge a single application so that the paperwork is reduced, the fees is reduced, and the businesses can do much easily the business what they want to do. Mr. Speaker, the joint registration regime will help the attorneys to have more working capacity. There are less than 1,000 registered patent attorneys in New Zealand and Australia. Each country maintains separate but similar registration regime for patent attorneys, and over half are registered to practice both in Australia and New Zealand. A single Trans-Tasman regulatory framework for the patent attorney was endorsed by Australian and New Zealand in 2009. New Zealand and Australia signed a bilateral agreement for implementation of the regime in 2013. The regulatory framework will introduce a single Trans-Tasman register for the patent attorneys, a single definition of service that may be only performed by the registered patent attorneys, a Trans-Tasman governance body, a single disciplinary regime and code of conduct, and single disciplinary tribunal will determine complaints and discipline of the attorneys. This will help the businesses to have their problems addressed by a single authority. Mr. Speaker, the single patent application process and the single patent examination process with Australia will have a majority, like the majority of the businesses which register themselves in New Zealand, out of those 95% also register their patents in Australia. Mr. Speaker, it is very important that we should give opportunities for the businesses to have the ease of doing business rather than they are stuck with the paperwork or paying double fees on their patents. Mr. Speaker, now the world is where you can have a very competitive business, and unless you reduce your cost, you won't be able to compete with the other companies across the world, because the markets are open and anybody can come and work anywhere. Mr. Speaker, we have passed many legislations which are helping the businesses to do businesses in New Zealand as well as Australia. With these words, I commend this bill to the House.
The next call is a split call, and I call Jan Logie.